Hi guys, Grandpa P the Science G here with another science lesson. And today's lesson is going to be on collecting insects, which is one of my favorite things. Well, it used to be anyway when the kids were small and we used to go out and collect butterflies and insects. And I'm going to show you how to do it. And I think you're going to be really interested in it. And maybe Mom will order a kit from a science distributor and get you started. So I'm going to show you the procedure, and if you're interested, maybe Mom will pursue it. So let's start talking about insects first. Insects do not have a skeleton like we have a skeleton that holds us up erect. It holds our muscles and our skin and our body together. And if we didn't have a skeleton, we'd just fall right down to the ground. But insects do not have a skeleton. They have what they call an exoskeleton. The outside of their body is very stiff and hard. It's not very hard, but it's crusty. And it's their skeleton. It holds their body together. So it's called an exoskeleton. The next thing about insects is that they have three different parts. They have a head, a thorax, and an abdomen. The head of an insect has the eyes, the mouth, and the antennae. And the antennae are feelers that they sense in their environment. They can sense a scent, a smell, or they can sense vibration. They can sense a feel. That's another sense with their antennae. The second part of a insect, the middle section, is called the thorax. Now the thorax is the center which holds the legs. And there's three pairs of legs. In other words, there's 6 legs. Each pair is 2. So 6 legs to an insect. And the abdomen is the last part on the end, which serves as their area where they digest their food and they get their energy for the work they have to do. So insects have 3 characteristics: head, thorax, and abdomen. Thorax is where the legs project out, and the head is where the antenna, the eyes, and the mouth are, and the abdomen is the area where they digest food. You get energy. Now, you would think that a spider is an insect, but it is not. A spider does not have 6 legs, and it doesn't have 3 separate parts. A spider only has a head and a thorax, and the head, it has a head and a thorax that are just one. They're not 2 separate parts. The head and the thorax are just one piece of the spider. And the abdomen is the second part a spider has. So as you can see, spiders are different in that they only have 2 parts, spiders, but insects have 3 parts. Also, a spider has 8 legs, or 4 pairs, like this. A spider has a head and a thorax together, and from the thorax comes 4 legs on each side, or 4 pairs. So there's the 2 differences between a spider and an insect. So if you're thinking that spiders are insects, they are not. But they can be collected too, but you have to be very careful because some of them can bite. So you've learned that insects have no skeleton, but they have an exoskeleton. Insects have 3 parts: the head, the thorax, and the abdomen. Insects have 3 pairs of legs, 6 legs, an antennae, 2 eyes, and a mouth. Now remember, a spider also has a head with eyes and a mouth, and it has 8 legs, or 4 pairs. And that's the difference between them. Okay, let's go over here. And I'm going to show you the things you need to start collecting butterflies or insects. The first thing you need is a butterfly net. And you can see that this is not like a regular minnow net or a fish net that you see with fishermen. Or you go to the pond and you use a net to catch some minnows or water spiders or whatever you like to collect. This net is very long and it's tapered. It starts out very large where you sweep and catch the butterflies or the insects, and as it goes down to the bottom of the net, you see it's tapered. It goes down to a very small section, and as we go on, you're going to learn why. Also, what you need when you're collecting insects and butterflies is you need a jar called a kill jar. In this jar, you put a cap full of this chemical called ethyl acetate. Ethyl acetate will kill the insect and the butterfly immediately, almost immediately, probably within 2 or 3 minutes. It kills most insects. I remember when I was collecting butterflies, it would kill them within 5 minutes. Very, very poisonous. So if mom and dad get you this insect collection kit, never, never, never go near the ethyl acetate. Let somebody else work that with you, unless you get a little older, and then you can do it safely. So this is the kill jar. It's got a screw-on cap, take off, and the ethyl acetate. You're also going to need a magnifying glass, because when you collect insects or butterflies, you want to study them first. Before you put them in the kill jar, I would put them in another clear jar and kind of study them with a magnifying glass. Look at their head, the thorax, look at their abdomen, look at their legs, look at their coloration. You know, and you have to have a book called a butterfly or insect guidebook. Audubon puts a very good one out. It's very expensive, but it's very, very good. It has a lot of pictures, and when you capture something, you can look in the guidebook and see what you captured. So you identify the insect or the butterfly that you have captured. Magnifying glass, you need dissecting pins. These little pins are, and I'll get up closer so you can see how small they are. And then you can see that one in there. And then they've got these little pins here. And there you go. Very tiny pins. And what you want to do with those, and you'll see when I show you, you'll see what I do with the pins. And you need a drying board. This is called the drying board. As if you can see, it's angled. And you'll see why it's angled in a second. These are the Riker mounts. And this is what you need after you kill the butterfly or the insect, and you have it all dried and stiff. Then you can, with the pins, you can mount it in what they call a Riker mount. This is glass, and it's a case, and inside that case is like a styrofoam, and you can take the pin that you put through the insect or the butterfly, and you stick it right in the styrofoam, and then you put the glass top back on, and you have a nice little collection there. And these are butterflies that Nick, Uncle Nick, and Aunt Jill, and your mommy, your daddies, and Uncle Luke, and they collected these years ago. These butterflies probably are 35 to 40 years old, maybe 35 years old. And look how nice they stayed. And I had these up in the attic for all those years, and they're still in pretty good shape. That's one, and here's another one. This is a little different one. This one, you don't need pins on. You just take the butterfly or the insect, and you push the glass on top of them, and it presses them, and they come out pretty flat. Okay? And there's all different kinds of butterflies there. And the kids learn to identify by looking in the guidebook and seeing what kind of butterfly they were and classifying them as such. Okay, and this one here, and I had two of these, but Uncle Nick left one of the Riker mounts at his classroom, and I never saw it again, and we had a lot of insects in the other one. In this one, we just have a few. You can see the darning needle there. And there's a rhinoceros beetle right there. That's pinned. You can see his mouth has a little kind of claws. Okay, which he grabs his food. Okay, that's a different type of insect. All right, now let me show you how this works. I'm going to move this camera down a little bit, and I'm going to show you what you do and how to do it. Okay, put this down here a little bit. Now, after you go out in the field, you can find butterflies and insects anywhere. You can find them out in the field, you can find them in the woods, you can find them near a pond or a stream or a river, in your backyard. They're all over the place. And this particular butterfly net is adjustable. So if I loosen this side here, I can, I guess this one's all the way up already on this side. So I loosen this and I pull that one up like that. So it becomes pretty long. So you can really reach out a long way and get your butterfly. Let's put this back in smaller so that I can talk to you here. See how much this goes down like that. There we go. It just telescopes. Okay, now when you catch a butterfly, the first thing you want to do is net them and grab a hold of the net like this, and that traps them down on the small tapered end of the butterfly net. And next what you want to do is bringing them over to your workspace. Let's get a little closer here. And the first thing you have to have is your jar open and your ethyl acetate ready. And you just unscrew the top, pour a little bit in the cap, and then take your cap and pour it into the kill jar. So you got a cap full of ethyl acetate in your jar. And then you captured a butterfly. Let's make believe one of these was just captured. Let's grab this one here. It's a small one. And you got them inside the net, right? So you take the net now, and you got the butterfly up here in the tapered end, and you put it over the kill jar like this, and you work the butterfly all the way down to the tapered end like this. You just keep pushing it down, and you work it all the way down to the end, and you drop the butterfly into the kill jar. And then while the net's still on the jar, you slide the cap over or underneath the net, and you slide this over the top of the kill jar, and you screw it on tight. And now you have the butterfly in the kill jar, and you only have to wait about 5 to 10 minutes. And that ethyl acetate is so toxic, and it kills them pretty close to immediately, within minutes. Sometimes you have to wait a little longer if you have a bigger insect, but most times it kills them within no longer than 10 minutes. So, and I wouldn't keep them in there too long, because if they're in there like a day or two, they get real soggy and they're not easy to work with. So now after the butterfly or whatever else you captured is dead, then you have to take it out of the kill jar, and I usually take them out with a forceps like this, or a pinchers, and then you take the needle's not on there when you put them in the kill jar naturally. You do that later, and I'm going to show you. And I'm going to take a bigger one out because this one's too small to show. So let me grab this one right here. This is a swallowtail. And what you do is after they're dead, you stick a pin through the thorax, the middle section. And this pin is already through the thorax. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's right through the thorax. And then you put the butterfly on the drying board, and you put the needle in the center of the drying board, and you push down on the wings very gently, because you don't want to ruin the wings. And the V shape gives you that shape of the wings, so they're a little bit angled. And then you keep it on the drying board for about a day or two, And then once it's dry, then you can take it off of the drying board like this, and then you can put it back into your Riker mount, into your collection. Like this. And just take your pin is sharp, so you stick it right in the styrofoam, and then you close your mount. And then you can identify them using the Audubon guidebook, and you can label it. You can put a little sheet of paper with the name of the butterfly underneath, or the name of the insect if you're collecting an insect. I got a darning needle here that's probably 35, 40 years old. As you can see, the pin is right through the thorax. Okay? Yeah, I don't know how well you can see that, but that's a darning needle. Okay, there's all sorts of insects and spiders, if you like spiders. But remember, when you're collecting things that bite, make sure you're very careful on getting it into the kill jar. And because you don't want to get bit by something that might be poisonous. Okay, if you have any questions, get back to me and we'll talk about it. You can ask any questions you want. And I think you'll enjoy doing that. Okay, Grandpa P the Science G signing out. Take it easy. See you next time.